Salarah Starre is a UK-based advanced law of attraction teacher trainer, coach, public speaker, and leading wellness expert. She will share life-changing wisdom about the law of attraction and how you can use this powerful universal law to build a foundation for bigger and bolder manifesting results. It is time to create the life you deserve, and with Salarah's help, you will.
And the warmest of welcome to Manifesting Made Easy with myself, Salarah Starre. I'm absolutely delighted to hear that many of you are connecting with me from different parts of the world. How beautiful it is to share this wisdom far and wide. My aim is to give you tips and tools to help you lead an extraordinary life, to understand the true meaning of life, and to help you release your own superpowers so that you can skyrocket your success. I truly believe that we're all spiritual warriors in intensive training, and we can use the spiritual laws, such as the law of attraction, to help you evolve into the powerful, conscious creator that you are absolutely born to be. So the manifesting that I teach is not a quick fix for the I want people. But it is a roadmap to an absolutely beautiful and new way of living that is in line with the creation of the new earth, the way that I see it. So I want to take this opportunity to say to you, thank you for answering the call. I love to help guide people on a very deep and enjoyable, fulfilling soul journey to becoming a true manifester, and helping you to connect with your inherent wisdom of your soul, so that you can begin to remember the real reason why you're here on this earth, the real reason what your soul has chosen to incarnate into specific life challenges, and help you to remember that you are absolutely extraordinary in every single way. So yes, my dear friend, you can claim that now. And through the wisdom I will share with you, help you unlock your true manifesting abilities. So through these podcasts, if you haven't had a chance to go back and listen to the other ones, I highly recommend going back to the beginning, especially if you are new to manifesting, to really help you understand the fundamental wisdom and the fundamental lessons needed to become a powerful manifester. And of course, ultimately for your soul growth and consciousness expansion. Whew, that sounds like a really good thing, doesn't it? I'm really a believer that we are here to embody this wisdom, not just to understand it on an intellectual level, but to help us truly become an embodiment of this wisdom, so that we can evolve the way our soul has chosen to, in line with the frequency of love. When I say frequency of love, we can either manifest from the teacher of fear or the teacher of love. Of course, if we manifest from a platform of fear, lack, desperation, need, or greed, we're going to get limited results with our manifestation. If we align to the frequency of love and the consciousness of manifesting for the highest good of all and not at all, to make a difference in this world in our own unique way, we are then going to get extraordinary results and lead a deeply fulfilling life as a result of it. My job is to help you move from 3D consciousness to 5D consciousness. If you're thinking, oh my word, that sounds a little bit Japanesey, or well, a different language, shall I say, then I'm going to run a show to explain that a little bit more. So I'm just writing that down now. Every time I connect with you, I have a new inspirations for different shows. So I just want to say thank you very much for that. And I'm going to be sharing a little bit of wisdom, probably in 3 separate shows. What is 3D consciousness? What is 4D consciousness? What is 5D consciousness? So in other words, the 3 levels of manifesting, which is very, very important to understand on your soul journey to help you get the very, very best results, but above all, to help your consciousness move to where it desires to be, so out of limitation and into limitlessness. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? Let's claim together. Yes, and so it is. So if you can either say that out loud or in your head, and so it is. If you're in the office and people are going to look at you a bit weirdly, say it anyway. Let's take this opportunity to truly embrace our weird. I know that I've had many opportunities to do that, so it feels really good. I am a believer that we truly are here to live a life of abundance, a life of connectivity, a life of flow, a life of freedom, and our job is to ultimately return to the frequency of love. Of course, we do have a natural reactive ability to protect ourselves and to close ourselves down. This is when our beautiful ego then starts to step in and help us to create this protective barrier around us, and of course to calcify the energy of the vortex of our heart center. And in master manifestation, we really need that open so we can allow the abundance, the light, the love of the universe to flow to us and through us, and ultimately then to light up our world. So our job is to identify the aspects of our ego that are in the driver's seat and to learn ways to overcome that so that our soul's desire to expand our consciousness and to rise and evolve becomes the forefront of our mission. So, are you with me? I'm sure the answer is a big hell yeah. So I want to explain today something that was a massive game changer for me along my part of the journey. It really opened my eyes. Some of you have been on this manifesting journey for a little while will absolutely know what I'm talking about here. And you would have heard this before. And there is a reason why the universe wants you to hear it again. So listen up. If we keep hearing same information over and over again, there's a really good reason for it. It's because we haven't either learnt the lessons or we are in the process of learning the lessons, and the universe wants to help to keep us on track. Now, we have two aspects of self. We have the fear and love aspect of self, also known as the ego and the soul aspect of self. And the ego, like I say, it doesn't really want us to grow and expand. Or if it does want us to grow and expand, it wants to help us unlock extraordinary soul gifts so that as we rise and as we evolve, we unlock wonderful aspects of our soul which have been lying dormant, and the ego helps us to access that. Okay, that sounds like an interesting journey in itself, doesn't it? So we can think about our life experience similar to being a training simulation, a bit like in the film The Matrix. So Neo will go into various training simulations and purposefully go into those consciously, knowing that it's going to be a tough journey and knowing that there's going to be some battle of some sort. But as soon as he overcomes whatever is in the training simulation, he unlocks special gifts as a result of it. And I believe that our life journey is very, very similar. Everything is designed as a strengthening platform, which is designed to make us, my friends, and not break us. That's why podcasts like this are so very, very important, because if there are any particular challenges that you are going through at the moment, I am here to remind you that you are just about to break through to a really, really new level of consciousness. Even though these challenges can feel very intense at times, we need information like this along our journey to help us to keep going. And remember that nothing is designed to be the breaking of us. Like I said, it's definitely designed to make us and to unlock strength and gifts within us. They're all designed to help us fulfill our divine blueprint and become the change that we wish to see in this world. So with the law of attraction only being one of the many spiritual laws, many people only focus on the law of attraction and don't understand these other spiritual laws, which means that they only get limited results within the law of attraction practice. Like I say, because there's so many of these other laws at play, and it is really important to understand some of these laws so that we can absolutely power up the law of attraction, and our manifestations will happen a lot quicker as a result of it. But remember, it's very, very important to have fun along the way. So if you're coming to your manifesting practice with any seriousness, with need or greed in any way, you will only see limiting results. So if you can, take yourself a nice deep breath in, put on some fun and uplifting music, shake off the seriousness of life and come to your manifesting practice with the energy of fun and flow. And like I said, you're going to sort of see massively accelerated results. So every single universal law is designed to unlock our gifts and align us spiritually to lead a more abundant and prosperous life. So of course, there are one of the universal laws called the law of responsibility. But what I'm going to do is I want to share with you a prophecy that was an absolute game changer for me. And, this is the ultimate spiritual warrior understanding. Without this understanding, we're just going to remain in victim mode. So in other words, fear-based consciousness, meaning that we'll never really be able to raise our vibrations and overcome any challenges. We simply won't rise and evolve. So pay attention to this, because this is going to really help you to see your challenges from a completely different viewpoint. It's like Einstein says, a problem can't be solved at the same level of consciousness that created it. Therefore, we need to be open to learn, grow, and expand in order to see our challenges from a different perspective, so we can move up and out of them as quickly as possible. Okay, so let's move on to the prophecy. The prophecy is the battle of the two wolves. And I know, like I said before, we've got some listeners who are well versed in this prophecy, and the embodiment of the transitional energy from fear to love is imperative in the spiritual warrior evolution. So even though we might understand it on an intellectual level, like I said, now it is a case of, right, universe, thank you for helping me to become an embodiment of this wisdom. That is the next step on our pathway. I get so many people in my private coaching practice saying to me, I understand all of this, but nothing's happening, nothing's changing. It's like, right, my friend, now it is a time to put your intention into becoming an embodiment of this wisdom. And the way I believe it, for many of us, the time for talking is over. It's now time to take action and time to do the real work that you and your soul has come to this earth to do. We will be talking at some point about spiritual bypassing, so keep an eye out for that podcast, because it's really, really important to understand what a spiritual bypass is, examples of spiritual bypassing, and then, of course, way to overcome that as well. So remember, it is the ego that wants the quick fix. I have so many people in my private coaching practice saying, right, within 6 weeks, I want to achieve X, Y, and Z, which is fantastic and really, really great to have that as a goal. But sometimes our soul needs to go through a very organic growth process to unlock the wisdom and the learning in order for us to have a strong foundation to receive the very, very thing that we want, and then to be able to sustain it as well. Okay, our soul absolutely loves the journey, the organic, slow journey to unlock patience and joy, to learn to surrender and become a vehicle and a vessel of allowing, and to earn its fulfillment. So remember, our soul loves this, to take everything in slow time. It's really important to understand that right from the get-go, in order to create true inner strength, in order to navigate through life's challenges. So in order to create the strong foundation of manifestation, stability, and of course security in your life, which we're all looking for, I'm going to share this prophecy with you, this Native American prophecy that will help to illustrate the most important battle of our lives. Now, remember, my friends, this is one that is within us. And once you understand and master this, then that's when true stability and long-term fulfillment, which of course we all want, can be reached and sustained. Okay, so here we go. So one day, a Native American Cherokee Indian was sat talking to his grandson, and he said, son, there is a battle going on inside all of us. It's a battle between two wolves. One wolf is full of anger, full of jealousy, full of blame, anxiety, lies, superiority, judgment. So in other words, full of ego. The other wolf is full of love, full of peace, compassion, humility, kindness, generosity, patience, and faith. And the grandson, he sits there and he thinks about it for a little while, and he says, grandfather, if there's this battle going on inside of all of us, which wolf wins? And the grandfather looks him square in the eye and he says, my son, whichever one you feed. So take a moment just to process that just for a moment. Because I know for me, when I first heard that prophecy, the first thing I thought was, well, thank God I'm not mad. I thought all these traits of this negative wolf made me this awful person. I was bad and I was wrong. And hearing this made me realize that actually we all have these traits in varying forms inside of us. So I was no different to everybody else. I wasn't bad and I wasn't wrong. I was a soul on a journey here to overcome some of these aspects of myself in order to lead a more sustainable and fulfilling life. So you see, my friends, the battle was never, ever outside of us. Of course, the ego aspect of self would have us believe that everything is happening to us. I want you to understand that the ego is an illusion. It creates an illusional reality. And what I like to do sometimes is, I got this inspiration from Marianne Williamson's book, Return to Love, is when I go into fear-based illusion, which is driven by judgment and fear and anxiety, I say to the universe, I say to God, the divine, thank you for helping to lift my mind to the realm of truth. And then what happens is I'm able to then come out of the egoic illusion and start to see the situation or the challenge for what it is, rather than what my ego has had me believe it to be. So remember, the ego aspect of self does like to blame. It blames other people when things don't go its way. It's your fault because you did this, because you said that I am the way that I am today. It doesn't take responsibility. It judges, it gossips. It spends most of its time looking at the glass half empty. And okay, and that's okay. There's no right and wrong here. But the only challenge with this way of living is it keeps us locked in a limited level of consciousness. It will never really bring us the deep fulfillment that our heart truly desires. It will never really bring us the freedom to be who we were born to be. And of course, have the deeply fulfilling, close, satisfying relationships that we were destined to have. The ego aspect of self, it doesn't understand that life is a projection of its own world, and that everything we see in our lives is merely a projection of our own programs, our own fears, our own challenges. And the sooner we understand this, the sooner we can move beyond these limited patterns and, of course, step into a beautiful space of limitlessness and receive all of our heart's desires and more. Okay, so I want to make this very, very clear that we're not here to get rid of the negative wolf. We absolutely can't do that because it is a part of us. Sorry, just having a sip of water there. But what we can do is we can learn to master it. So even though I haven't got rid of some of my egoic traits, I have learned to master them so that they're no longer determining my destination or my destiny. Okay, so think about what it is that you really want to achieve in your life. Because you're listening to this podcast, because you would have goals and dreams and ambitions, whether it's to attract your soulmate, whether it's to find stability in a beautiful new home or overcome some kind of health challenge. In order to reach that goal that your heart deeply desires, it is important to become aware of the aspects of your own personality that are stopping you from achieving this and being the best that you can be. Now this is when we uncover these aspects of our personality, the egoic aspects, this is a moment of celebration, because this means that we know where we need to go in order to grow. And these so-called shortcomings are actually the very key to the freedom that we want to experience in our life. And of course, once we've identified, overcome, and mastered these, we're going to reach a completely new level of consciousness. And your world, my friends, is going to absolutely reflect this internal shift to you. So looking at some of the egoic traits, we have ones like jealousy and blame and lies and reactivity and defensiveness, manipulation, opinionation, judgmental, can be lazy, can procrastinate. So I don't know if you're like me and you're listening to that thinking, oh boy, I do a few of those. And my friends, that's perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not bad. You're not wrong. You're human, and you're here to overcome these aspects of yourself so that you can live a deeply fulfilling life. That's why I say that this is a moment of celebration. We're here to move from fear to love. We're here to learn to overcome ourselves, from 3D living to 5D living. Of course, those are going to sound a little bit like another language right now. I'm going to take a deeper dive into one of the podcasts coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. But once we have overcome our limitations, we move into a world where we have certainty that the universe absolutely has our back. We move into a world of certainty that everything is unfolding in the perfect time and space sequence. Therefore, we have patience and we are able to surrender outcomes to the universe. A world where we can absolutely take responsibility for every single challenge that we experience in our lives. A world where we can be open and honest with one another. A world where we can be proactive and become the conscious creators of our reality. A world where we are open and receptive to all good. A world full of integrity, humility, and grace. A world where we're open-minded and we're happy to learn from one another. A world where we are willing to become this co-creator with the universe and take action. A world where we are compassionate and we are caring and we are working together in unity with one another. Now, if the latter world sounds more appealing to you than the aforementioned egoic-based world, then my friends, you're well on your way to that path just by having that desire to reach there. The universe is going to bring you the right teachers, the right wisdom, and the right information along your pathway to help you to overcome whatever it is in you that is stopping you from reaching that level of consciousness. So thinking about reactivity, defensiveness, manipulation, opinionation, judgment, procrastination, you might want to just take a moment just to pause this audio and to ask yourself, where am I doing these things in my life? Now, this isn't to call you out, to make you bad and to make you wrong, because it's got nothing to do with that. This is about you wanting to reach a new level of consciousness and becoming aware of the aspects of yourself that are keeping you locked in that lower vibration. And then once you've become aware of where you're doing these things, you can ask yourself, how specifically am I doing these things? So quite often I will check in with myself and, whether it be becoming judgmental of somebody else, I'll be looking at, well, where am I judging them based on my own egoic illusion and my own pain? And that's when, again, I will say to universe, thank you for helping to lift my mind to the realm of truth. If I'm tempted to judge or criticize myself or anyone else, thank you for helping to heal me of my own limited vision. That is Marianne Williamson, or similar to, I've created my own version of it, but she is my absolute inspiration. I found her teachings to be extremely powerful in overcoming myself, that and of course the teachings of the Kabbalah too. So once you look at where you are specifically doing this in your life, you can then look at finding alternative ways to show up, either stopping or finding a new way, which is more aligned to the vibration of fifth dimensional living, high vibrational frequency, soul-based, aka the frequency of love. So you might want to ask yourself, well, how am I feeding my negative wolf? You can look at areas like the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, negative thinking, eating low vibrational foods, not connecting and doing a regular practice, and not honoring your emotions, spiritual bypassing. For some people, it might be smoking, sex addictions, shopping. So it's worth looking in all those different areas. So make sure that you explore these with yourself and just choose one or two areas to start with. You don't want to make this too big. I like to remember the soul likes to go on this lovely organic journey. And what I like to do in my practice is identify one area and then work with that for a period of a few weeks until I feel I've mastered it. Then I will revisit and then get another area for my growth and do exactly the same. So if you are feeding your negative wolf with negative thoughts, low vibrational food, smoking, gambling, drug addictions, or such like, you may want to take a moment to ask yourself, what is the void that I'm trying to fill by using this method? Some of it might be, for some people, if it's emotional eating, it might be, well, it's to stop me from connecting with my emotions. It might be because I am trying to protect myself in one way or another. Underneath every single behavior is a positive intention. There's going to be a real reason why you do something. For some people, drinking, it might be to numb their emotions because connecting to emotions might be way too painful. For some people, for gossiping and judgment, it may be stopping from themselves from taking responsibility and looking at the part that they're playing in the creation of what they're experiencing, because it might be too painful to look at that. So there will be something that you're doing which has the positive intention to fill the void. So ask yourself, what is the real reason why I am doing X, Y, and Z? And again, if you want to pause the audio, just while you take time to journal this, and then you could ask yourself, if this behavior had a positive intention, what would it be? So we're not making ourselves bad and wrong. The amount of people I work with in my private coaching practice that call themselves all sorts of names. Oh my God, I couldn't believe I was just being so pathetic. Or I couldn't believe it. How stupid am I? I'm like, no, you're not stupid and you're not pathetic. The reason why you're doing these things is to fill a void, and it has a positive intention. So let's look at what the positive intention is behind it, and then ask ourselves, how else can we reach the same outcome? What other method can I use? Because I believe it doesn't matter how advanced you are. You're always going to find areas that you're feeding the negative part of yourself. You're always going to have your ego trying to help you out. Of course, its methods aren't particularly helpful, keeps us locked in a perpetual cycle of our own pain. But if we can identify these areas and find new ways of showing up, then we start to move ourselves out of these old repetitive patterns and cycles. So, of course, it's also important to remember that people are going to come along and trigger us, right? That's what people do. Now, they didn't install the buttons. The buttons were generally installed in the earlier part of our life. But what they're doing is they're coming along and showing us the button that we've got installed so that we can go on a healing journey and heal that, remove the button so we're no longer triggered, and of course, raise our vibration and our consciousness. So these triggers are usually due to an unhealed emotional wound from the past. And when we're triggered, of course, the negative wolf is activated, the ego is activated. And of course, as a protective mechanism, God bless its heart, it springs into action to defend us and protect us at all costs. Oh my word, whether that be lying, blaming, reacting, defending, manipulating, its goal is to protect us in order to get our emotional needs, physical needs met. But like I said before, it does nothing but keeps us in a perpetual cycle of creating the same thing. So I like to say that none of these egoic behaviors are bad or wrong. It's really, really important to remember that. It's simply the scared or hurt part of ourselves jumping in to rescue us. Of course, we default into these responses at a very, very early age because we were never taught any healthy or alternative ways of dealing with these emotions or life changes. Of course, hence why the ego steps in, which is great because the ego gets us to where we are now, but it's not going to get us to where we want to go. Okay, they are designed to keep us safe short term, but of course, long term, they destroy the relationship with ourselves, detach us from our spiritual pathway, take us completely out of alignment, buy us into an ego-based illusion, creating dis-ease within ourselves, within our mind, within our body, and stop us from leading this deeply fulfilling life. So please know, I'm never one to blame our caregivers, our parents or our caregivers, as they were absolutely doing the best that they could at the time with the level of wisdom and understanding and consciousness that was available to them. And all I can say is thank God I had my ego to help me survive through life to get me to this point. But I don't want to just survive anymore, and I'm sure you don't either. You're ready to move from surviving to thriving, to find new and more proactive ways of moving out of these old painful patterns and cycles and moving forward. So, of course, recognizing these behaviors is a vital first step along your road to your ultimate freedom. And being open and willing to see these as a massively brave and courageous step, my friends. It really is. And I promise you, it is the key to freedom. So it's important to be willing to sit with yourself openly, lovingly, compassionately, non-judgmentally, with the intention to create freedom. It's one of the best gifts that we can give ourselves. And also to be able to say to the scared and reactive part of ourselves, hey, my dear friend, it's okay. Thank you for protecting me all these years. I really appreciate it. Thank you for keeping me safe when I needed it most. I'm deeply grateful for all that you have done for me. And I want you to know that I don't need these survival methods anymore, because we're not under the same threat that we used to be. I'm safe now. And I'm giving you full permission, my dear friend, to step back, because I'm now on the case to lead a deeply fulfilling life. I've got the universe on my side and a new level of support that will help me move forward. So you can just imagine giving that scared part of you, the ego aspect of self, a nice big hug and saying, it's okay, I've got this now. It is all about creating an internal environment of love. So not about, oh my God, I'm so stupid, or why the hell did I do something so silly? That's not going to help. That's creating more pain inside, more separation inside. This is an internal environment of love and gentleness and support, and returning us back home to the frequency of love and kindness. And it's here in the frequency of love that all we desire and more will manifest. So remember, living in negative wolf consciousness contracts your energy in, it brings it in. Whereas living in positive wolf consciousness expands your energy, makes you more magnetic to all your heart's desires. So it's time now, my friends, to break free, and you can take the next step on your journey to do that now, so that you can manifest with grace, with ease, and with flow. Because by God, my friends, we all deserve this now. Anyway, it has been absolutely beautiful to connect with you and to spend this wonderful time with you. I will be sharing a little bit more about the universal laws in coming podcasts, so keep an eye out for that. If you have any questions, of course, you can always reach out to me at salarahstarre.com. And I look forward to seeing some of you on the moon ceremonies twice a month. Remember, I've got these free moon ceremonies for manifestation touch points and a beautiful opportunity to grow, learn, release, and expand. And in the meantime, it's been lovely to be with you, sending you lots and lots of love along your journey. And if you would like to inquire about working with me one-to-one, as I said before, you can reach out to me at salarahstarre.com. Take care, have a beautiful day, and sending bundles of love your way.
Thanks for listening. Salarah Starre will be back next week with great insights into the law of attraction. In the meantime, please visit salarahstarre.com.